part of the house, so that this is all family living space. This is the show when his kids had a ping pong table and was now a library that was developing. And so this would have been, fun, family-friendly place. Behind us on the left here, we have a doorway. Originally they had designed for an additional door or additional room down here, but they ran out of money when they built the building, so they just put a doorway in and leads directly to the outside.
Oh. I think it would be kind of, you said that the Scholl family had, what, 4 children?
Yes, 4 daughters.
4 daughters? I would think that would be weird growing up in a jail.
Most of them I believe are still alive, and some of them I've heard told me stories about how they would go and sit on the back porch and be angry at mom because mom said something or grounded them or something like that. And sometimes prisoners would hear them and ask them through the windows in the bars and whatnot, what was upsetting them.
Yeah.
They start complaining about their mom and something. And the prisoners would actually, tell the girls, to mind their mother because she's a wonderful woman and you should be grateful to have a mother like that.
And they'd end up where they were.
So, yeah, pretty much is what they were saying. So, even though it was a show, was, charged right in the jail and things, and her daughters were here, the prisoners really weren't. They were more helpful than not having kids around here.
What's this right here?
This is an old voting machine. It's actually appropriate that we have it, considered Tannenbaugh Center is now the western voting hub for Crawfordsville. The way it would have worked, you would have stepped in and pulled the lever across at one point, and it would have shut the curtains and popped up all those little tabs for you. Each little tab would have corresponded with a candidate in the party. It would have just knocked them down, pulled the lever back across, it would have tallied the votes, and printed out a paper with all the votes on them. It would have opened the curtains and reset the machine for the next person.
When did they use that? Because I've never seen something like that.
We don't have an exact date. We have a number over here. It says 21 on the box. We don't know if it means 1921 or box 21 or 1721. We do know that this did come with it though, and it's a register that shows 4 different parties. The 2 of the parties are the Republicans and Democrats, the ones that we all know and love. And the last 2 are the Prohibition and Socialist Labor parties. So based on American political culture, we know that this happened in around the 1930s or 20s, because after the 19th Amendment gets passed, or 18th Amendment gets passed, and you have Prohibition, the Prohibition party kind of falls apart because they've completed their great quest. And then of course after the 50s, you don't have, the 30s, the Prohibition is repealed, so you don't need Prohibition anymore. And then you also lose the Socialist Labor Party as being a major political party in the United States after the 1950s, when the communist threat becomes a very major part of U.S. policy.
This is kind of
up here we have a 2 to 5 cogs. What looks like a knocked out wall. And the reason is that the wall was knocked out. When they originally designed the building, they just kind of walled in the cogs until they realized that you have to grease cogs every so often. So they actually had to go with the hammer and beat out the wall so that they could get 2 cogs.
Huh.
I was curious about the styrofoam one. Why is that on there?
Well, this is still residence, which is still heated and cooled by air conditioning unit and things like that. On the other side of this door is the jail where it is not. So this is here to kind of keep this energy efficient, and isolate it from the not so energy efficient jail. So kind of watch out for the metal here because it's covered in injuries.
Now you're under it.
Yeah.
But up here you can see the entire jail structure from the inside. You can see the trough where they would have collected all the human waste. The little runoff where they would have flooded it with the water from the cistern on the roof that would have flushed out the system. The lever and the chain that flushed the whole system was right here. Or was right there. This central shaft is completely hollow. You can see it from the side where the opening that it is.
Oh, yeah.
So this would have been the main drainage pipe. This also doubled as the weight there for the whole jail. The wall that you see around it doesn't actually sit on, doesn't touch the jail at all. All the weight is on this one pipe. The wall is just kind of there to get that cog up to the jail, and you kind of give yourself the optical illusion that there's a wall holding this up. But if the jail was on top of the wall in any way, shape, or form, it would not rotate. You'll notice on some of the toilets, as you see the trash can and things up there, and some of them have duct tape on them. The reason for this is that in the 70s, it actually became so weak up on top of them, or the tops of the toilets were, that the prisoners could actually kick the tops off of them with their feet and punch holes in it. And they would do that to climb inside the jail, come down to where we are now. And since no one was, expecting anyone to be down here other than the sheriff and his family, none of the doors down here were locked. Not the door to this room, not the door to the boiler room, and definitely not the door that led from the basement to the outside. And so they actually managed to pull off several escapes through here where they would just simply come into the jail from the inside and escape out through the basement.
Crawl through the toilet.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess you have to pull one get out of that.
They weren't having to crawl through waste because the waste went down. They were going up through the top. So they actually were going reasons like this, in fact, I think it's easy to escape from, that prepared, it's not very cost efficient, and not very sanitary, captivating to that jail system. However, since then, last 4 years, we've had 3 county jails. So this jail will actually probably end up standing out as the longest active jail in the county.
Movements.
These guys have put in a fee about how to get out.
Well, that's true. But what's interesting is that, this unique piece of engineering, and still, it didn't work that well.
Yeah.
Because of the different ways that, the human being